welcome to my channel. My name is Keneiloe Myoli, and if you're here for the first time, welcome. I hope that you will like it here and will consider subscribing on the red button down below to become part of my growing beautiful family. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I really appreciate you guys. So in today's video, I'll be doing a Q&A. I ask questions on my Instagram stories and also on my community post here on YouTube. It is specifically about my pregnancy journey, labor and delivery, and some people asked some postpartum questions as well. So that's what we'll be covering in this video. Also, I just want to say thank you again for 1,000 subscribers. We are so close to being monetized. I think by the time you see this, I would have reached the 4,000 watch hours that I needed. So let's cross fingers, you guys. So thank you so much. You know how long I've been saying we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and it feels weird now that we reached it. I'm sure I'm gonna start saying we are on the road to 2,000 subscribers soon, which we are, but I'm just not gonna bombard you guys with that for now. But I would really appreciate it if you could help me grow even more. So yeah, let's start the questions. Now, I think I'm going to start with the Instagram ones and then we'll go to the community questions. Some questions are similar. I will tell you guys if I get like a repeating questions. Also, the questions are in no particular order. I'm also not going to say who asked me the question. I don't think that's relevant. Not that some questions are anonymous or private. But yeah, let me not mention names. I'm just gonna go through the questions. The questions are on my phone, so let's get into it. So the first question is, what would you say was the worst thing about your hospital stay this time around? My hospital stay this time around would be the nurses were not as thorough as the ones with Zuzu were. I suspect a lot of the nurses maybe knew because you'd find that a nurse is helping me out and then the nurse that's with her will disagree and say, no, this is how it's supposed to be done. And they missed a few things. There were no explanations of what's happening. And I didn't do things like, what's that thing where you put the body? I didn't do things like skin to skin. And I did those things with Zeus. I don't know if now it's because it was winter or if they just missed it, but I feel like the nurses, not the hospital itself, but the nurses that were assisting me were not as thorough. So that's the thing that I wasn't really happy about this time around. But the hospital and my gynae, absolutely amazing. I can't complain about that. I think it's just the individuals that were helping me this time around. Second question is, how would you compare the two C-sections pain and recovery wise? The two C-sections, the first C-section I would say was painful, but I was expecting for it to be painful. That's one thing. This time around, I wasn't expecting it to be as painful as it was, and it was the worst kind of pain ever. So even the recovery, with Zuzu, I didn't feel anything, guys. I felt like people were exaggerating about the pain and recovery of C-sections, but the second time around, I really went through the most. So that's the difference between the two C-sections. So to summarize it, I would say very painful the second time around. Question number 3, are you opposed to Vbag and why don't you try it with baby? For those that don't know, Vbag is vaginal birth after C-section. I'm not opposed to Vbags. I've heard they work. My issue is that I've heard that gynaes are not really into Vbags for one. even though I had a discussion about it with my gynae, he seemed to be keen on doing it. But also, I feel like, guys, like, I initially thought I'd go for a Vbag, but I've heard like so many stories of people who try to give vaginal birth and end up having C-sections, and I'm like, why? Why am I going to put myself through the kind of pain and still have a C-section? And also, the reason why I thought of having a Vbag was I've always thought, or I've heard, that you can only have up to 3 C-sections. After the third one, they're closing you. Not that I want to have 3 kids or more than 3 kids, but I don't want to be restricted because I had 3 kids. I wanted, if I want to have 5 in the future, I still want to be able to do that. But then I found out from my gynae that you can actually have 3 C-sections. I actually saw this other lady on YouTube that had 2 natural births and 9 C-sections, so she has 11 kids in total. So I'm like, okay. So after I heard I can have more than 3 sections, I'm like, I'm not pushing. And then question number 4 is, what's the one thing or things you packed for your hospital bag that you didn't use? The one thing that I packed in my bag that I didn't use was my bras. Yeah, I didn't use my nursing bras, and I also didn't use my granny panties. That's because I was using the disposable panties that I showed you guys. So those are the 2 items. Other than that, I think I used everything. I don't remember not using anything. Yeah, I think those are the 2 things. But like my bra, guys, I did suspect that I'm not going to use it. Like I said, I only use it on the day I was getting discharged, but inside the hospital, no. And also the stuff that I packed, like nappies, wipes, surgical spirit, those things, I didn't use the ones that I packed myself. I used the ones that were given to me by the hospital because they were there already. If you would have watched my labor and delivery vlog, you'll see what they gave me. So I used what the hospital gave me instead of the ones that I packed myself. But also I used the Panthen because Bennett's, baby starting to get like a bit of a rash. So I used the Panthen instead of the Bennett's. That's the difference. Question number 5, do you think you would do it again, and which was easier, pregnancy number 1 or number 2? Do I think I would do it again? Maybe. The only reason I'm thinking of having another baby is because I really want to have a girl. I have 2 boys, as you guys may know, so my heart really wants to have a girl. But do I want another child? No, guys, not necessarily. Like, I'm seeing flames with my 2 boys. Being a parent is really tough, and I'm thinking also, like, kids are expensive. So if I really want to live the life that I aspire to, I don't want to have a lot of kids because kids are expensive. School fees, I'm going to be responsible for kids for at least 18 to 21 years financially. I'm praying because in this economy you never know. So maybe just because I want to go, but not necessarily because I want boys. But for now, I'll say no because I'm still seeing flames, literally. Question number 6, your mental and emotional state on sex after birth and postpartum boy. Look, you guys, like, my body has changed a lot since I've had the 2 kids, especially now. I'm bigger, I have more stretch marks. I'm very insecure about how my body looks. So mentally and physically, I'm not really excited about becoming intimate again. Question number 7, how was the labor and delivery this time around? It was the same. Yeah, it was the same, like I said. The only difference is that I found out a few minutes before they started operating on me that I'm actually in labor, which I suspected I was a day before, but I wasn't sure because I didn't know what labor pains are or how it feels to be in labor. But I felt a bit weird. So I was actually in labor, but luckily I wasn't in any pain at all. And then the recovery this time was much more difficult. I was in a lot of pain. There was a time I wanted to go back to the hospital because I was in so much pain. And then question number 8, do you think everything went as planned or do you think everything went as planned or as expected? I'm not sure if this is regarding the pregnancy or the delivery or everything, but I think everything went as planned. Okay, I'll say this time around, I planned to carry full term, which I did. It's 38 weeks is full term, so I definitely carried baby for longer, even though there was a false alarm along the way, but I definitely did carry baby longer this time around. So yeah, I gave birth, I think, at 38 weeks, 4 days. Question number 9, how long have you been off the pill before you fell pregnant the second time? Okay, so I was only on the pill for 6 months after I gave birth to my firstborn. And that's because after you give birth, at the 6 weeks appointment, you get asked or you discuss preventing with your gynae. So we decided that I'm gonna be on the pill, and they give you a prescription for 6 months. So I was on those for 6 months. And the reason why I wasn't on them for longer is, if you know my history, I struggled to fall pregnant the first time around, and that might have been caused by me being on the pill for about a year and a half. As much as you're supposed to fall pregnant quicker when you're on the pill, it kind of delays you falling pregnant as well. So I didn't want to struggle the second time around, hence I was only on the pill for 6 months. So Zuzu was how old? Close to 2 when he fell pregnant. So I had been off the pill for about a year and a half when I fell pregnant. Then someone says, hi mommy, are there any foods, drinks that you strictly stayed away from for the whole 9 months? I stayed away from sushi. Not that I don't eat sushi anyway. I actually recently tried it, but I didn't eat sushi at all. However, I was having salmon. Salmon is part of seafood. I was having salmon, but I had to make sure that it's not raw. So I had to make sure that it's done properly. I had caffeine. So no, I wouldn't say that I stayed away from any food. I had everything. Besides sushi that is not recommended, but other than that, I had everything. There's nothing that I deliberately told myself to stay away from. Oh yeah, no, I'm forgetting. I didn't have cheese, like feta cheese. Most cheeses I didn't have. So I had a list on my gynae of what I could and could not have. So things like feta cheese, I definitely couldn't have. So yeah, feta cheese and goat cheese I don't have. Those are the 2 cheeses that I remember. Next question. I've lost count of the questions, guys, so I'm just going to say next question. Next question is, what would you say was the worst thing about your hospital stay this time around? I already answered that. And then how would you compare the 2 sections, pain and recovery wise? I already answered those 2 as well. So that's about it from my Instagram questions. Let's just go to the YouTube questions. Birth story. I think let me just do a birth story in a different video, because I think this video will be too long if I do a birth story. But if you guys would like a birth story, please let me know in the comment section down below. I know I've already shared a vlog, but obviously there's lots of things that I'm missing in the vlog. So if you would like a birth story, do let me know in the comment section. Did you use all the items in your hospital bag? I answered the question. How long is your maternity leave? Okay, so my maternity leave is 4 months. But I was on maternity leave for like 4.5 because, let me just say 4 months, and half of the month that I was home before my maternity leave started was because I thought I would be giving birth earlier. Actually had a scare where baby wasn't growing at some point, and my gynae was like, no, we'll just have to monitor you closely. So I decided to stop working in the middle of the month to just rest in case doctor says, okay, you're giving birth today, because we were at that point where he was like, if baby hadn't grown today, I would have delivered the baby today. So I sort of never knew when I'm gonna give birth. So I took my annual leave days that were left for half of the month, and then my maternity leave is officially for 4 months. Are you breastfeeding? Yes, I am. Will you reveal baby's name? Yes, definitely. I am thinking of introducing him to you guys and telling you baby's name as well. How is your firstborn adjusting? My firstborn, Zuzu, most of his face, Shem, like he really struggled a lot from the beginning. He was really struggling with the change. Like, he didn't understand who's this person. Why is my mom carrying him? Why is my mom playing with him? Even though I tried to give both of them attention. So, but he got to a point where he was literally like pushing the baby off from me. And as a result, baby is spending most of the time with the nanny when Zuzu's around from school or on weekends, because he wants a lot of my attention, guys. Like, he'll say, "Mommy, put baby down." As I say, "Mommy, put baby down." So yeah, I mean, it's really tough for him, but I feel like he's sort of getting used to having his brother around, and also he loves his brother a lot. And I said, "Hello, baby. How are you, baby?" But he also wants to play with the baby, so he doesn't understand that the baby is too small. So yes, he's struggling a lot with having to share the attention, but also on the other hand, he loves his brother. Are you done with kids? I already answered the question. Okay, and then was it an elective C-section or simply because you had a prior C-section? Why didn't you opt for a Vbag? I already answered the Vbag question. I don't want to push you guys. I didn't see why it's necessary. I can have more than 3 sections, which I thought I couldn't have. That's the only reason. Next question is, how did pregnancy impact your budget or finances? Did your medical aid cover all costs? Oh, this one is tough but important question. First of all, my maternity leave is not covered. Our company does not pay you when you're on maternity leave. They give you 0 income. So I have to apply through Department of Labor for my unemployment insurance fund, UIF. But the money is very little, you guys. Like, I think first payment I got like 20% of my income, and second time around I got like 15% for the month. I only get 3 installments in the 4 months, and you never know when you're gonna get it, and you never know also how much you're gonna get. So Habi and I had to obviously like make sure that we are covered financially. So my husband had to take over my financial responsibilities at the house, with the child, just everything here. And now I had to worry now about my usual debit orders that I obviously have. So I had to save just to, like, you know, ease the load off from him as well, so that he doesn't have to pay for everything. And the medical aid one, the gynae that I go to only delivers at a specific hospital, and that hospital is not covered in the plan that I had, or was not covered in the plan that I had before I fell pregnant. So with both pregnancies, we had to upgrade our plan to accommodate the hospital where my gynae gives birth, which is obviously way more expensive. So yeah, even that, so throughout the duration of my pregnancy, I had to upgrade my medical aid plan. And after I've given birth, I don't have any income. So that's been a tough one. So yeah, that's an important question. Thank you so much for asking about it. So just to make sure, guys, like, when you are looking for a job, just make sure that you know these things. Read the company policy. It was written there, so it's not like I didn't know. I think I found out, I knew about it after I joined the company, but it's not like I didn't know about it at all. So yeah. Okay, the other question is, how did you manage to get through all your other responsibilities, for example, work, family, while pregnant? Ooh, guys, you need a lot of support. You need a lot of support. You need extra hands. The nanny that we had, she wasn't really helpful, and I really struggled towards the end of my pregnancy. Hence, I changed her towards the end of my pregnancy because I knew if she's struggling already while I'm pregnant, I'm gonna struggle a lot when I have 2 kids. I was helping her a lot with Zuzu, but because now I was heavily pregnant, I was struggling myself, so there was a bit of a challenge. So that's how I coped. With work, I don't know how I made it through because I literally worked until the very end, you guys. Like, I was so close to giving birth when I stopped working. So, but I think a lot of support, or so that you can rest when you can. If you can have family around, do that, but you really need like either a nanny or family to assist you, especially if you're pregnant and you have a toddler. What did you base your decision on? Your delivery or hospital? My delivery, like I said, I did mention why I went for a C-section. I didn't want to push again. I didn't see any reason why I have to put myself through that pain, especially if I'm going to push and end up having to go for a C-section anyway. I know, guys, I try to be positive about it, but I think that's my other mistake. Like, I was listening to a lot of stories, or I was running into people who were saying I was in labor for 2 days and I ended up having a C-section anyway. And then the hospital, like I just said now, my gynae, I went to my gynae because I really love my gynae. He's so good. He has my history with my, because I went to him I went to my gynae while we were trying to conceive, and we used the same gynae with Zuzu. And because I love my gynae and I'm very comfortable with our gynae, we love his work. I didn't see why I should change. So he only delivers at a specific hospital. That's why we ended up giving birth at the hospital that we gave birth at. And then the next question is, what are the similarities and differences between your first and second pregnancies? I did mention that the second pregnancy was very difficult, guys. Like, I was really sick. I was struggling a lot. I was in a lot of pain. My baby was way bigger than Zuzu was. Hence the pain and how big I was. I also gained a bit more weight. But physically, it was a struggle. With Zukanya, I used to exercise a lot. I used to go to gym. I think with Zukanya, I went to gym until two days or so before I gave birth. With this one, I couldn't even walk properly. So it was just in terms of the size, and I struggled with pain. And what are the things you wish you knew before going to the hospital this time around? What are the things you wish you knew before going to the hospital this time around? There's nothing really. I think I knew what I wanted to know. It's just different this time because we were in the middle of a pandemic. But I think I knew everything I needed to know. One thing about my gynae, guys, he will give you details of everything. You're prepared, but he didn't even need to go through them because I knew. But because his brochure explains everything, I just went through stuff again for the second time. But I was okay again this time around. I didn't need to know anything that was different from the first time. Any advice to people who are going to give birth via C-section for the first time? I would say do research about what's going to happen. Fortunately, if you're watching this, it means that you have access to YouTube. There's so many of us. Even me, I had a story time of my first pregnancy. I'll link it up here somewhere. So just do research, be prepared. The pain, it can be there, but pain differs from one person to the next, and also that's because our pain tolerance is not the same as well. So I think just be prepared for the procedure, and also know what you're going to do after the procedure. The next question is, how are your feet now? Are they still swollen? And how is the healing process of the C-section wound compared to the first one? My feet are fine now. They took quite some time. They took about close to 6 weeks, and yeah, so they're not swollen anymore. The healing process, I did say that it was much more difficult than it was the first time around. How is Zuzu's relationship with his brother? Does he understand that there's an additional member to the family? I answered that question as well. Next question. I hear postpartum pains are terrible. What has your experience been with both pregnancies? I think I answered that question. Your experience with breastfeeding. Yo. Guys, I don't have the best experience when it comes to breastfeeding, honestly. With Zukani, I didn't have enough milk, so I was always on like supplements that increase my milk supply. Second time around, same story. I don't have enough milk, so I'm mixed feeding again like I did the first time. And baby at 6 weeks is like, I'm not interested in this breast milk thing, so I'm literally forcing you guys. I'm gonna stop soon, honestly speaking. Baby is not really interested. I'm forcing, but I mean, if he's healthy, he's growing, this formula, I'm not gonna stress about it like I did the first time around. How did you prepare mentally for labor and delivery? Firstly, I prayed a lot. I prayed that everything will go well and that baby will be healthy, baby and I will be healthy. We'll have a successful delivery. Prepared, I made sure that I've packed everything, I'm organized, even though it was last minute. I think that's about it, you guys. I briefed my husband, like, this is what needs to be done. If I need this, he will bring that. The kind of support I will need, etc. Next question. Hey mama, how are you doing post-delivery? Are you well? Are you coping? Post-delivery, I am okay. I'm okay. Am I coping? Sometimes. I'm not sleeping much. I'm not able to give both kids my attention, well, at the same time, but I am trying to. When Zuzu's at school, I give baby my attention. When he's back, I give Zuzu my attention. At night, I'm kind of like giving attention to both, sort of, kind of, which is not really working. But I think I'm coping for now. How was the pregnancy compared to your first one? I answered the question. Do you think you'll do this a third time around? I answered the question. How does it feel having 2 boys and being outnumbered in the house? How does it feel having 2 boys and being outnumbered in the house? Guys, it is the ghetto. Being outnumbered is not nice at all. My boys, all 3, my husband and the 2 boys, they look the same. I'm so jealous of the boy. Like, I feel like they're gonna be like the boys, you know. It's nice though to be the queen of the house, the only queen of the house. But man, I wish I could have like a baby girl. 2 boys are a handful, and I believe they're gonna be a handful for quite some time. But yeah, I love my boys, and Zuzu is so protective over me. I can just imagine how his little brother is gonna be. Next question. How was the healing from labor for baby number 2 compared to baby number 1? I already answered the question. Next question. How is baby doing, and how is big brother doing also? Baby is doing well. I have a lot of help this time, so my mom was around, Nanny is around, so we're able to like change, and so each one of us can rest, especially me with my healing and everything. Brother is doing well. He struggled with adjustment, like I said initially, but now he's all good. Hi mommy, please explain according to experience maternity periods. how many packets of pads are needed and how long or how many days does it take? Okay, so maternity pads, because they're so big and people tell you, including myself, that you're gonna bleed a lot. You bleed a lot, but not too much, guys. I don't know, maybe it varies depending on the person, but for me, yes, you bleed, but it wasn't extreme. You just need to be prepared. So prepared, I mean, like, you need to have enough pads, make sure it's always on, and it takes quite some time. They say it can bleed up to 6 weeks, which I did bleed up to 6 weeks. I remember even on the day I went for my 6 weeks appointment, I still had my maternity pads on, and I think I left it on for like an extra week because you never know. There was a time, I think twice, where I thought I didn't bleed maybe for like a day or two, and I thought, okay, I'm done, and then it was just like come flooding, you guys. Like, I would have so much blood at once, and I'm thinking, oh my god, if I don't have this pad on, it would have been like a bloody mess, literally. So it does take, they do say 6 weeks. For me, it did take 6 weeks, but I just kept it on for like another week. I would use maybe 6 packets or less. So I'd say a packet, like a whole pack or 2 for a week. Let me say one pack for a week, but it depends on you, and also depends on how full you want it to be before you replace it as well, etc. But like I said, it wasn't throughout the 6 weeks. There were days where I would have it on and it would be empty, but then after 2 days, it comes back, or there's a lot of blood, and I'm like, what? Okay, your mental stage pre and postpartum in comparison to the first baby. Okay, so some of you may know I had like postpartum depression with Zucchini. I was struggling a lot. I was sleep deprived. I didn't have help. Zuzu was sick. He was crying all the time. He was a really fussy baby, and yeah, I was really struggling. I wasn't okay. Second time around, baby sleeps much longer than Zuzu. Yes, he was sick. He had the same jaundice, but we didn't have the treatment as long as we had with Zuzu. With this one, it was for like a few days, a week or so. Unlike with Zuzu, it was like a month of just like taking bloods almost on a daily basis, taking him to the hospital, having him analyzed at home, etc. You would have known that with this baby, we were in hospital for 3 days. Yes, we kept going to the hospital to take bloods, etc. But it wasn't hectic, man. And also this time around, my mom was here very early. On the day I was getting discharged, she was arriving. And also I have 11 nanny already this time around, which I didn't have. So sleep helps a lot, guys. Like, now I'm able, if I, obviously baby doesn't sleep at night, in the morning I can nap for like an hour or 2 and just give the baby to either my mom or to the nanny. Okay, my mom's gone now, but definitely to the nanny, so I can rest a bit. So rest makes a lot of difference. Also, I know what I'm doing this time around, so it makes things easier as well. So I think in comparison to the first baby, this time it's a bit easier. I'm feeling a bit better. Even when I went for my 6 weeks appointment, I remember entering my gynae's room, and he was like, Keneiloe, you look good. And I said, thank you. And he's like, you know, I can tell when my clients are not good. I can tell by the mommy's face if she's coping or not. I remember you had really bad baby blues and postpartum depression with the first one, and now you look good. And I really was in like a good space. Obviously, you don't expect to sleep. You have a newborn, but are you able to rest some other time? Are you okay? Are you crying all the time when baby's crying? Are you crying randomly for no reason? So I wasn't going through all of that this time, even though I do have my moments when I'm like, I can't do this, I'm tired, I need more hands. But I'm so grateful for the support. I'm grateful for the nanny. I don't know if I've told her this. I should actually tell her, but I'm really grateful to my mom and my support structure in general. So I'm good. I'm coping much better this time around because of the help that I have. Oh, guys, that's it. I really enjoyed this, guys. Zuzu just got home now, and I was sort of like rushing through the last question, but most of them is because I've answered them already and I don't want you to disturb me. But Thank you so much for sending through the questions. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. And also again, thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. Please don't leave without liking the video. Make sure you are subscribed. Hit the notification button so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. And share it with your friends and family as well. And let them know about Keneiloe Myoli and that you love my channel. And then we're on the road to 2,000 subscribers. And until the next one, you guys. Bye for now.
Doctor